Praia da Luz is a small resort town on Portugal's Algarve coast, known for its peaceful, family-friendly atmosphere. In May 2007, the McCann family, Jerry, Kate and their 3 children Madeleine and her 2-year-old twin siblings, traveled to the town for a much-needed break. The McCann family, Jerry, Kate and their 3 children, including Madeleine and her 2-year-old twin siblings, had traveled to the Algarve region of Portugal for a family vacation. They stayed in a small resort called the Ocean Club, in an apartment that offered a picturesque view of the beach and ocean. It was meant to be a peaceful, relaxing getaway. Apartment 5A, where the McCanns stayed, was on the ground floor, just a short distance from the resort's tapas restaurant. This proximity would play a major role in the events of that night. On the night of May 3rd, Jerry and Kate McCann, along with their group of friends, later referred to by the media as the Tapas 7, dined at the resort's restaurant. They sat just 55 meters away from their apartment where Madeleine and her siblings were sleeping. The group agreed to check on their children every 20 to 30 minutes. Jerry McCann was the first to check on the children. He entered through the unlocked patio door and found all 3 children sleeping peacefully. On his way back to the restaurant, he had a brief conversation with a vacationer near the apartment. Around the same time, one of the McCann's friends, Jane Tanner, walked past the apartment on her way to check on her own children. Tanner reported seeing a man carrying a child, walking quickly away from the Ocean Club apartments. This sighting became central to the investigation as a potential sighting of Madeleine's abductor. However, neither Jerry McCann nor the vacationer he spoke to noticed Tanner or the man she described, leading to some confusion in timelines. Another friend, Matthew Oldfield, offered to check on the McCann's children while he checked his own children. Oldfield did not enter the children's bedroom, but noticed that the door to their room was slightly more open than before. He assumed everything was fine and returned to the restaurant without looking closely at the children. Kate McCann went to check on the children herself at approximately 10 p.m. When she entered the apartment, she noticed that the door to the children's bedroom was wide open, and when she went inside, she discovered that Madeleine's bed was empty. She checked the windows and found that one of the windows in the bedroom was open, with the shutters raised. This was unusual, as the shutters had been closed when they left. In a state of panic, Kate ran back to the restaurant and shouted, "Madeleine's gone! Someone's taken her!" Portuguese authorities were notified, and by early morning, police had launched an investigation into Madeleine's disappearance. However, the investigation was flawed from the start. The scene was not properly secured, allowing possible evidence to be compromised by the many people coming in and out of the apartment. Despite the quick mobilization of search efforts, the first 24 hours were critical, and they passed with no significant leads. By the next day, the case began to attract international attention, and soon, media from across the globe descended on Praia da Luz. Early theories focused on the idea that Madeleine had been abducted by someone who had either targeted her or taken advantage of the unlocked patio door. Another theory was that a burglar entered the apartment and, upon realizing there were children inside, took Madeleine. The sighting of the man carrying a child by Jane Tanner fueled speculation that the child seen being carried away was Madeleine, but no definitive identity for the man was established. As weeks went by without a breakthrough, the Portuguese police began to focus on the possibility that the McCanns themselves may have been involved. This theory was later discredited, but the McCanns were named formal suspects for several months. As with many high-profile missing persons cases, theories quickly emerged. One of the first suspects was Robert Murat, a local British-Portuguese resident who lived near the McCann apartment. His behavior was deemed suspicious by journalists, leading to his temporary designation as a formal suspect. Murat, however, has consistently denied any involvement, and was later cleared. Witnesses reported seeing a man carrying a child in the vicinity of the apartment on the night of May 3rd. This sighting, which occurred around 9:15 p.m., has since become one of the most debated pieces of evidence in the case. Was it the abductor, or just a tourist carrying their own child? Another theory focused on the possibility that Madeleine had been abducted by a human trafficking ring. The Algarve region, known for its tourist attractions, also has its darker side. where organized crime groups operate, some involved in trafficking children for illegal purposes. Yet another possibility is that Madeleine may have wandered off on her own, only to fall victim to an accident or foul play. But one theory that quickly gained traction, and would later be endorsed by Portuguese authorities, was that Madeleine's disappearance might have been an accident. In this scenario, it was proposed that Madeleine had died accidentally in the apartment, and her parents had covered up the incident by faking her abduction. But despite the various theories, no definitive evidence has ever been uncovered to support any of these claims. In a shocking twist, the Portuguese police turned their attention to Madeleine's own parents, Kate and Jerry McCann. Under immense media scrutiny, the McCanns were named arguidos, or formal suspects, by the authorities. The theory put forth by investigators was that Madeleine had died in an accident inside the apartment, and her parents, fearing legal repercussions, had covered up the incident by faking her abduction. However, this theory too lacked compelling evidence. The McCanns were later cleared of any suspicion in 2008, but the damage to their reputation was already done. In 2011, the case was reopened by the UK Metropolitan Police under the name Operation Grange. Detectives reviewed thousands of documents, interviewed dozens of witnesses, and followed up on potential new leads. Despite their efforts, no breakthrough has been made. However, in June 2020, a significant development occurred. German authorities identified a man named Christian Bruckner, a convicted sex offender, as a suspect in the case. Bruckner had been living in a camper van near Praia da Luz at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. Though Bruckner has not been officially charged, investigators have stated they believe he may hold vital information about what happened that night. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann has been one of the most covered missing persons cases in history. Newspapers, television programs, documentaries, and books have all explored the case in detail. The public has been deeply divided. Some believe the McCanns are responsible, while others think Madeleine was abducted by an unknown third party. The McCanns have spent years defending themselves, launching campaigns and searching for their daughter. The Find Madeleine campaign has raised millions of dollars to fund private investigations, ensuring that the search for answers continues. With all the theories that have surfaced over the years, it's important to separate fact from speculation. One undeniable truth is that a little girl vanished without a trace, and despite the millions of dollars spent on investigations, Madeleine McCann's fate remains unknown. As the years pass, the hope of finding Madeleine alive has dwindled, but for Kate and Jerry McCann, hope is all that remains. The world continues to watch, speculate, and hope for answers to one of the most perplexing mysteries of our time. Where is Madeleine McCann, and will we ever know the truth?